Welcome to Empowerment Radio. My name is Dr. Friedemann, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me. Empowerment Radio is about giving you the insights, tools, and solutions to address some of the most challenging aspects of our daily lives. So sit back, relax, and empower yourself.
Welcome to Empowerment Radio. Now, I want to apologize a little bit for my deeper than usual voice. Maybe you find it sexy, I don't know, but it's not what I usually sound like, as you may know, but it has to do that I had to load more than 3 tons of hay today in the morning, and somehow the hay has affected a little bit how I talk. Maybe it's so great that I should always load hay, who knows? Anyhow, just to know that I'm not sick, I'm okay, I'm just a little hay-loaded in my vocal cords. Now, today we have a wonderful guest and a really, I think, perfect timed show, which is all about what most people have been feeling recently. And I'm talking about the big S, the big stress that I think so many, I would say 90% of my clients are just in a very heightened stress level right now. Now, I was lucky that for the last 10 days, I have been hiking with Danielle the Compostelle, which is this beautiful pilgrimage path from France to Spain. So we have been doing 150 miles on that. And it was just really beautiful to be connected to nature, to empty your head, to let go of a lot that we have carried, to fill ourselves back up with those things that have been emptied. So I'm actually in a pretty good space when it comes to stress right now, but I actually did share during this walk live videos. So if you want to go to my Facebook account or the Instagram account and just check them out, because it was wonderful to go on this meditative hike and just get these little insights about intuition or simplicity, how to overcome resistance, and also how to listen to that little voice inside of you, that truth within that tells you what is right, that tells you the way, but often we just don't listen to it. We don't tune into it. We are more distracted by all that, what's going on around us. And right now, I think if there is something that most of us are feeling is just that sense of constant bombardment with overwhelming information, usually bad information. So there is not only the COVID and the uprising against racial injustice and the wildfires and global warming and the presidential election and you name it. I mean, if there is one time in our lives to really feel a little freaked out, probably that would be it. Now, the problem is, of course, stress never really helps. I talked to somebody the other day who said, well, stress actually is good. Well, there may be this positive, motivating stress that really gives you a sense of passion and purpose, but the stress most people are feeling is more the stress that exhausts you, makes you feel paralyzed or powerless or anxious. And that affects not only our mental and emotional state, it also affects, unfortunately, our immune system. We know that there are a lot of stress-related illnesses that, basically are, I believe, contributing to more than 70% of doctor visits, and that's something that has been also shown, just because people have either high blood pressure or high cholesterol, or they have chronic pain, and all of those things can be backtracked to a heightened stress level. And when it comes to COVID, we certainly need a very good and strong immune system. And so working on stress and de-stressing is really something we all should focus on, and not with self-medication or vegging out or distracting ourselves, but really being more proactive, paying attention to ourselves, reconnecting to ourselves, not dismissing our feelings or thoughts, but really listening to them and understanding them. And that is what I in my work can help you with, going to the deeper subconscious level of where the stress and anxiety comes from, and find that groundedness and centeredness within. But there are other angles, there are ways to work with stress from the physical angle, or just like meditation, yoga, and like my very special guest today will share, there's also that way of de-stressing and strengthening your immune system through something that I find just absolutely beautiful and fascinating, which is Qigong. And the guest that I have today is a master in a very specific Qigong technique, in a healing Qigong. And he will share all about what Qigong is, how to work with Qi, how it can support us. And there are a lot of questions I already have for him. So I'm going to bring him on. Master Mingtong Gu, I hope I said the name right, comes from his tree tent in Santa Fe. I never had someone on the show that is talking from a tree. So I really appreciate you being here on your tree and sharing all about Qigong and your healing.
Thank you, Dr. Friedemann. I'm so happy, so delighted to connect with you, connecting with all the audience from my tree. And I love your introduction. Sharing experience of Pyramid Ridge and being in the nature with spiritual purpose. And that's just so beautiful, really warmed my heart. So we're doing the same thing in different ways. So I'm very grateful, be in this space with you together today. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you. And of course, I always ask my clients first, because that's really, often one of the very fascinating ways of how life works. How did you end up on this tree? Meaning, how did you start your life's journey?
Straight to the present moment, right?
Yes, well, from way back to now.
Right, so how everything happened in your life leading to this moment. This is really, fascinating topic. And one thing leads to another, in the big picture is a mystery. In every moment, we know everything leads to another, moment. We know we have all the opportunity and to make choice. So we're really learning how to follow our heart, follow our deep calling, then allowing every moment unfolding in this big mystery of life. Reflecting on my own life, it's like I didn't discover Qigong. I was growing up with Qigong, when I was young. Even I was was born in China and heard of Qigong, Tai Chi in some way, but really didn't have opportunity to know anything about it, not to mention practice. So I discovered Qigong after left my country when I was 20-some years old and came to US to study mathematics and discover fine arts. And in the graduate school in fine arts, I discovered Qigong, slow a friend here. Then I study more with my teacher. After I quickly discovered this is really profound, really important. And so it's like a big circle, made a big circle. And then I went back to China to study more. So in this process, one of my experiences, and when I study art, I starting to explore nature, the power of nature, the misconnection with the nature, after living in the city for so long. And so that was a really profound experience. And it's really adventure, but also self-spiritual discovery of who am I, what is my connection with nature, with humanity, with this life. So that is a time allow me to connect with nature more deeply, including all the raw elements with tree and with water, with mud, with the earth elements and everything. I just spend days, sometimes weeks in the nature, just meditating and away from the noise, away from everything else, really feeling my vulnerability, feeling my connection with earth, feeling also the empowerment come from the earth. And the same time I was meditating, was practicing Qigong at a time. So that really brought me this deeper connection with earth I never thought, was possible.
Yeah.
Also allow me to see the disconnection, our modern life, our society, our human way of living life is so disconnect with earth. So because of that experience, that deeper intimacy, deeper remembrance, deeper memory really affected my life. So when I continue practice Qigong, including many years in the center back in China in the medicine Qigong hospital, and I feel this connection with the earth was so important for me, So, and after I came back from China, started teaching in the last 20 years full time, and has been, very busy. And I feel very blessed, sharing this gift, sharing this experience, and sharing the benefit of Qigong with so many people. But I'm missing my personal retreat.
Yes.
One of the gifts of the pandemic is really suddenly opened up new opportunity. Suddenly, I'm stuck at home, even I'm still busy, working with the students through online program, suddenly have more spaciousness, more quietness. So 2 months ago, I decided to stay here and 3 days out of a week. And so have more time to meditate, more time focus on my long due project, writing book. And so same time still able to teach slow online, and the same time visiting my home 5 minutes away, play with my kids, spend time with my wife. So I feel like I'm come back to this kind of modern version of hermit, and like a new version of my cave, but same time still active, in family, active in my community, active in my teaching. So feel really blessed. And so, the reflection.
Well, I love your story about, just also following a path that wasn't planned ahead. It was something that unfolded itself, and you listened to what you were drawn to. And I think that's usually the path that leads us to our purpose. So thank you so much for sharing. Now we'll take a quick break, and you do Qigong, you talked about Tai Chi. All of those things are maybe not known to everyone. What is that actually? So when we come back, we'll talk more about this, and we'll delve into what is it, what it can do for us, especially during this stressful time. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hi, Dr. Friedemann here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about fear and anxiety, here you'll find guided meditations, webinars, and interviews with some of the most renowned experts in the field of empowerment. Delve into the over 230 videos and more to come every week.